Good afternoon. It's Thursday, September 16th, Mexican Independence Day, and my sister Judy's birthday. Happy birthday, Judy. I'm going to talk about teaching and stereotypes. So, I am currently a member of a much maligned demographic. Old white men. Okay, not super old, 62, but to anybody under the age of 50, I'm old. Um, and I'm not trying to whine about anything or imply that old white men aren't responsible for a lot of really bad stuff in the world. But here I am, painted with that brush. I'm part of that group, even if I am not similarly responsible in the way that some very malicious old white men are. And this came up at work with the bus driving, and it has to do with perceptions. So it is entirely possible for me or any other old white man to have a perfectly civil conversation with a young person of either gender that they don't have a problem with. And we can even be teaching. I hesitate to use the word mansplaining, but if we're polite, it's just teaching. It's not mansplaining. And then later, after the fact, have some third party in conversation with the young person decide not only for themselves, but then persuade the young person that it was creepy. So as half of a conversation, I've done my work to try to not be creepy. And then some third party butts in, or the other person says, oh, I had this great conversation with the bus driver, and suddenly somebody's parent is on the phone complaining that a bus driver is trying to talk up their child for some sort of malicious thing. So the advice, of course, at the bus company is just, never have any kind of conversation with a rider that you don't need to have. If you do have a conversation, limit it to the weather or something like that, or something about the actual operation of the bus or something. Okay, I get that. I'm not dependent on conversations with bus passengers to get through the day. But yesterday I was also part of a group of people who are in a class to learn about wood-firing kilns, wood-fueled kilns. And of course, I want to tell stories, and I want to explain things, and I want to be available as an experienced wood firer to help with the education of inexperienced wood firers who happen to be a third my age. Okay. And I'm stuck with, do I let those third parties, do I let those people who identify everyone as a creep stop the conversations? Or do I remain brave, or find ways to be brave, or tiptoe through that minefield and continue to teach? It's gotten harder, and I know that in some cases it may have nothing to do with who I am or how I am. I may just bear a physical resemblance to someone who was once a creep, or who is currently a creep, or something like that. It's kind of humbling. And of course, there are many people in the world who have been living with this sort of unreasoning prejudice their whole lives. In fact, I have one of my students who is a very, very large man, and he can be quite eloquent on how much unreasoning fear there is in his presence simply because of his size and appearance, without him ever having done anything to earn their mistrust. You know, he walks into a restaurant and people are like, uh-oh. All he did was walk into the restaurant. Anyway, so when we're thinking about stereotypes and snap decisions and, you know, who we're deciding what about, I think maybe we all need to gather more information and potentially stop telling other people what to think about the benign experiences in their lives. Anyway, not a cheerful subject, but because it's central to teaching, because all the teachers are getting older, whether they're male or female, white or non-white. And if we get into a situation where old people are no longer allowed to talk to young people, education will suffer. Have a good day.